Coming to the stage, certainly not his debut, a personal favorite. Let's give it up for the one and only Adam Deaton. Let him hear you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Hello, everybody. A lot of familiar faces. How are we doing? All right, so I should tell you right away. I've been doing this for a while now, and I still get so nervous up here. But I always remember that old trick. When you're in front of an audience, you just have to picture them naked. Hold on, I threw up. No, I was just kidding. No, honestly, at first I didn't get it, but then I tried it, and now I do it every time. I'm actually doing it right now. And I know what you're all thinking. Yes, you all have a huge penis. Especially you, ma'am. So the craziest thing happened to me. I was at a bar recently in West Hollywood with some friends that I hadn't seen in a long time. And I was in line getting a drink when suddenly the ceiling started to collapse. Like chunks of sheetrock just started falling from the ceiling. Two of my friends got hit in the head. I later found out that they had mild concussions. It took me a minute to realize what was going on, but as soon as I did, I freaked out. I ran up to the security guard and I'm like, "Can I still get a drink?" I mean, I was in line. He said no. But so I was like, "Well, then can I just take this bottle of tequila then?" He's like, "No." But luckily, no one was seriously hurt. They were just a little shaken up, you know, like that margarita I didn't get. So I'm originally from Iowa, and that would never happen there. You know, our bars are sturdy. Well, I mean, they have to be because, you know, a meth lab can go up at any minute. It'll really damage your foundation. So all my family still lives in Iowa. They actually live within a 20-mile radius of each other, which is convenient. And I love to have them come visit me out here because they still have that Midwestern charm that I lost. Like, they have this thing where they'll just wave at strangers for no reason, you know, because that's just what you do. I had my mom and my grandma come visit me recently, and I took them on a walk downtown. And some guy just started waving at my mom, and she just started to wave back. And she's like, eh. And I had to bump her. I'm like, "Don't wave at him. He's defecating on the sidewalk." Yeah, without missing a beat, she's just like, "Well, where do you want him to go? He probably didn't want to use that Starbucks bathroom either." But we had a blast while they were out here, though. One night, I got them so hammered. I took them to a nightclub, and we were out really late, too. I mean, I think we left at like 6 p.m. Way past their bedtime. But I knew it was about time to go when my mom started getting a little chatty. She'd try and tell us stories about people back home, but she'd just end up repeating the same stories over and over. Like, she'd be like, "You remember Susan? She's a lesbian now. But I think she's also a hairdresser because she always talks about how much she loves to scissor." And then five minutes later, she'd be like, "You remember Susan?" Like, "Yeah, Mom, scissoring Susan, got it." And then, of course, my friends were feeding them shots, trying to get them all messed up. You know who you are. But eventually I just had to say, "Look, my grandmother is up there doing Cirque du Soleil with the go-go dancers. It's time to go." And then when I first tried to convince my grandma that, you know, she'd had enough to drink, it's probably time to go, she got a little defensive. She's like, "Don't you get all thouier than whole on me." I'm like, "All right, Grandma." But I finally convinced them it's time to go, and I pour them into the car, and then, of course, my grandma makes me stop at the grocery store because she wants a pint of ice cream. I think she's gonna just pass out with it in the car, but I get home and it's gone. I'm like, how did she eat that whole thing? She didn't even have a spoon. But anyways, I get that. I don't think she drank it. Anyways, so we get home, I get them in the door, and just when I think that I've done everything that I could possibly do to get them home safely, all they have to do is plop themselves in bed and pass out. I turn around for 2 seconds to shut the door, and I hear, "God damn wall." I know this is gonna be good. So I turn around, and my grandmother has tripped on her heels and fallen into the dry walls. It was an image. But she just gets her, dusts herself off and goes to bed. Like she's a tough old bird. I know I didn't have to worry too much. She didn't hurt herself. But God, she goes to the gym almost as often as I do. But speaking of the gym, I've been trying to go more often recently because, well, I have this body issue that I'm trying to get rid of. I know I look like the epitome of self-confidence. But I'm a little self-conscious about it. See, I have these decent-sized arms, and then I have these little chicken wrists. I don't like to talk about it. But so I Googled ways to fix it. I found some exercises you can do. So I've been trying to be really expressive when I talk, which is good for you guys, that really work those out. But my favorite thing, I could just masturbate more. But I do that enough. I'd never leave the house. Plus, I don't want one to be bigger than the other. So I just had to find another solution. But since going to the gym, since going to the gym more, I've realized that I have a new pet peeve. I can't stand it when guys in the locker room sit their bare, hairy ass on the bench. I'm like, that can't be sanitary. I don't want your ball sweat on my clean clothes. I'm like, I don't want to be somewhere where your asshole's touched. Like, no, thank you. So now I got to go get a towel and some sanitizer, maybe a moist towelette. And then there's these guys that like to have full-on conversations with you, and I'm like, sir, I would love to continue this conversation, but you're air drying your genitals, so I'm gonna go. It just makes me uncomfortable. I mean, I could never do that, and I mean, I know I have the same equipment, and don't get me wrong, it's not that I'm ashamed of what I got. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I've measured, and I'm almost 8 centimeters. All right, thank you guys. You've been amazing. You're a great crowd.